Has Spurs GM Wright done enough to wrap up the Executive of the Year award? And let's preview tonight's Spurs-Warriors game. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Spurs in Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes. What else you got? Spotify, YouTube podcast. The list goes on and on. Pocket Cast. Make sure to go subscribe to those and so many other spots. Seriously, it means every day Spurs in Focus is growing. By the way, I am your host, Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs beat writer in San Antonio. I always appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Spurs in Focus, your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Seriously, come here. First spot. Whenever you have a chance, get here, subscribe, listen to me, listen to our guests. We all talk silver and black as much as we can throughout the week. Hey, bonus episode, I guess. I guess I'm a very busy guy here at Spurs in Focus. Got another episode for you right now. What are we talking about today? We've been talking about a lot of awards, right? This whole week, we're talking about Keldon Johnson, six-man. We recently talked about Wemby MVP award. But kind of working in the shadows is Brian Wright. Has he done enough to win the NBA Exec of the Year award? We're going to talk about that, hear what our guest has to say about it. They're kind of, that's kind of their vibe right now. He'll dive into that. He'll break it down why, and so much more, including a preview of tonight's Spurs-Warriors game. Get your coffee ready. Seriously. I think the game's like at 9-ish. So if you want some Spurs action, get ready to drink a lot of coffee the next day because it's going to be a late game. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest as promised, everybody. What did I say last time? This is going to be one of our regular guests here at Spurs in Focus. Well, he's back. Mr. Rudy Campos with the Sports Answer. He is on X at Box Score Studio. And I heard the only other guy that can lift up the power sword. Is that true?
Yes. I will say that at one point I had the power and then I needed the money, so I sold the power sword, and I don't have the money. You know what, man?
You had to sword, didn't you?
I turned 21, Jeff, and I was going to Vegas, so I needed the cash.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think Orko, Man at Arms, they all would agree with you. Yeah, maybe you did the right thing. By the way, a little hint of what the nurse segment is going to be about later on in this episode of Spurs in Focus. Get ready for that. Rudy has something special for you guys to
always do.
Visually,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's him ripping off his shirt and flexing like He-Man. Is that what it is?
I've lost some weight, but I haven't got that kind of muscle. I'll never get to the Jeff Garcia.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Let's move on now. Rudy, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here in Spurs in Focus. As always, we appreciate it. And Rudy's going to drop some news about Spurs in Focus, the Sports Answer, etc., on how other ways you can catch this show and more later on this episode of Spurs in Focus. All right, let's dive into it. As you heard in the intro, Rudy, we've been talking about a lot of Spurs potential award winners once the regular season's over. From Wemby MVP, that's a hot topic. Keldon Johnson, six-man of the year, a hot topic. Even just recently, we've got Harrison Barnes and De'Aaron Fox nominated for the Sportsmanship Year Award, Teammate of the Year Award. Seriously, a lot of attention going to the Spurs, but kind of lurking in the shadows is the other award, the Executive of the Year award. Yes, the NBA does recognize executives that assemble a team that is successful and record-wise, winning streak-wise, losing. Okay, by the way, this doesn't get highlighted enough. The longest losing streak this team has ever had is 2 in a row for the entire freaking season. The NBA tries to give credit where credit is due for assembling the team. And likely a strong candidate for that is Spurs Brian Wright. Now, he's definitely a lightning rod when it comes to Spurs fans. There's a Team B right or not Team B right.
Yeah.
So we're going to be discussing that. Has he done enough to go ahead and win that first award in his award shelf, possibly in the near future? I'm going to start it off, Rudy, and say absolutely he's done enough to get that award this season. Do I have to tell you what the Spurs record is, everybody? Do I have to tell you who's on the roster? Do I have to tell you the draft picks that they've had and the selections they made? I mean, yes, I get it. Wemby was a no-brainer, but at the same time, there have been some other moves he's made to assemble the team that you're seeing right now. Rudy, I'm going to try to be like Vic right now and just go like, oh, yeah, you need 3 reasons. I'll give you 3 reasons. Here are 3 reasons. He had the foresight to trade some of the popular players to garner enough draft picks, swaps, all that good stuff to assemble the team you're seeing right now. If it wasn't for the DeJounte Murray trade, perhaps there's a few players that are probably not on the roster right now. Wasn't for even trading a guy like Trey Jones, the highway robbery he did to get De'Aaron Fox in trade with the Kings, excuse me. All those moves have put together the roster you see right now and the power team that this franchise has on their hands and potentially a long playoff run. Even the under the radar moves, Luke Cornett, I think that was a fabulous move. Finally, the Spurs get them the quality backup. And who gets the credit for that? It's Brian Wright. The list goes on and on. Bringing in a veteran like Harrison Barnes in that deal with the Kings there. Sneaky little moves. Kelly Olynyk, another veteran presence move right there. Even bringing a guy like Chris Paul last year, they imparted the knowledge that the players have said that they still used this season and how it's made them better. Those moves come together, culminate into what you're seeing right now. A successful season, a winning team, a team that's on a freaking 9-game winning streak right now, multiple winning streaks, considered a top contender for not just the Western Conference crown, but for an NBA title. The list goes on and on. Pencil it in for me. I got him as the NBA Executive of the Year. Rudy, you're kind of on board, but you do have your questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was funny because when you had texted me like, hey, this is going to be the topic, I immediately said, me, I always look at everything, the positive, I always look at the negative, and I'm like, man, I see a lot of positive. There's really no way you cannot give Brian Wright the deal. But then something hit me. I'm like, well,
yeah, here we go.
I look at the draft party. I mean, you look at the obvious picks when it comes to Wemby, Castle, and Dylan Harper. Those were the obvious picks. Now, I've heard some people say that Stephon Castle wasn't the obvious one. If you guys remember, when I talked to Jeff a long time ago, I said Stephon Castle was my number 1 prospect in that draft, and he was number 1 on my draft board. So the Spurs getting him at that time was absolute, what my daughter says, absolute cinema is what that was. But then you got to go for the past, his past draft history. Hasn't really had a whole lot of, great draft picks. So that was what hit me. Like, well, I mean, is he perfect at every point of the, of whatever you're being nominated for Executive of the Year? No. But then I snapped, Jeff, like, you know what? I'm diving too deep into it. It's this season. So then I thought, this season, yes, he is one, if not the best Executive of the Year. Only guy I can put above him is probably Sam Presti. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because he was able to finagle Jared McCain
and he went to that
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's a massive move for Oklahoma City. So it's Presti and it's Brian Wright. I'm going to say, thinking about it a lot more, I give Brian Wright the nod. He should be Executive of the Year. Yeah. He's definitely going to be top 2. I know Trajan Langdon's done a really good job in Detroit, but I think that has a lot more to do with coaching more than anything. But also look at the coaching aspect too. Brian Wright helped Mitch Johnson put together one of the best, and like I said, probably the best coaching staff in the NBA. And it shows, man. I mean, there's really more positives and very few, if any, negatives as to why Brian Wright shouldn't get love from all Spurs fans. And it's even crazy you're talking about this because you could potentially have Executive of the Year, Coach of the Year, 6th Man of the Year, potentially even Victor as an MVP this season, being the youngest player to be an MVP in NBA history. So you see all the awards going up on the mantle. This is a very, very beautiful season for San Antonio, the way it's shaping up and the way it ended up shaping up at the end of the season here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get the reservation or the hesitation when it comes to Brian Wright at the draft.
Yeah.
Rudy Campos, would have been able to pick Wemby as number 1. I mean, it's obvious. You guys watching
a blind man would have got Wemby.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of obvious.
Going and then the Castle pick. Yes, I understand that duh, he's still on the board at 4. You take him. But it's not his fault that teams before the Spurs passed on Castle. So again, I get the argument. Oh, it fell in his lap. But that's not his fault. Houston has to go with Reed Shepard. Can imagine Houston with Steph Castle right now. Can you imagine that?
And I was scared about it that night because as soon as I saw Steph Castle not go 1, and I knew he wasn't going to go number 1, but again, with me having him number 1 on my big board, I thought there's no way he gets past, Houston. He just makes so much sense for the Houston Rockets. And when he ended up falling, I'm like, okay, this is kind of crazy because now the Spurs have a legit number 2 guy who could turn into a number 2 guy. Everybody has been crying about Kawhi Leonard. Hey, he was the best two-way player. The Spurs, they traded him because he didn't want to be here. You basically got Kawhi 2.0 and Stephon Castle,
absolutely,
a younger version and one that is a lot more explosive than Kawhi. So, I mean, you know what it is? I look too much into history. I dove way into his history too much. And I see more negatives in draft picks than I do positives. But again, it's one season. It's this season. He's done everything right.
Yeah.
The record shows it. They're bound to win 60 games this season. I would have never said that. I would have never said that at all. So he's done a fantastic job.
I see. Did you make a funny right now? He did everything right. I think you did.
I didn't even snap to that. Right did right.
Right did right. Yeah. No, he absolutely did. He did. To assemble with the squad you're seeing on the floor right now, just chef's kiss from the Cornet, as mentioned. Bringing in veterans that this team desperately needed. Heading into this season, addressing the need for backup depth at the big man spot, not just Cornet, Olynyk, and now Plumlee. So the list goes on and on and on. Dylan Harper, the same thing. Yes, I understand. You take Harper, it really was kind of close to a coin flip. Flag or Harper, you were kind of good either way who were number 1. But again, the basketball gods responded to the Spurs, and hey, that's the hand that the gods gave Brian Wright, and that's the hand he's dealt with, and he's going to roll with it. So yes, anybody would have done the same thing.
Could you imagine if he took Nipple at
T? Why do you want to go there now? See, now you're going to start a whole other can of worms.
No. I mean, come on. When we talked in the past about drafting, I said Dylan Harper was number 1 on my draft board. I had him above Cooper Flag. Dylan Harper is an instant game changer. He's an instant.
Oh, you had Harper going 1 in your?
I had Harper. Go back to my mock drafts. They're all over social media from draft. I had Harper going 1. He was number 1 on my big board. Now, in some cases, I had Flag going to Dallas because that was the obvious choice. But if you look at the big boards in the past, I had my drop board was Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag. Those are my 3 in order. So
interesting.
But then you look at it, a guy like Kanipo, who was projected to be a Spur in a lot of mock drafts because they never expected to get the 2nd or 3rd pick in this draft. So imagine that Kanipo, are the Spurs maybe 63 wins by now, 62 wins? I mean, look at what he's done for Charlotte. I mean, could you imagine if he's on San Antonio's squad? It's fun to imagine, but I'm absolutely glad they got Dylan Harper. And you mentioned Mason Plumlee. I can't stress how much of an awesome pickup that was by Brian Wright for Mason Plumlee. You needed toughness going into the playoffs. Mason Plumlee is a no-nonsense guy. So loving it. Playoff basketball gets more physical. You got a guy like Mason Plumlee to come in. You need to maybe make a statement somewhere. You need to get a hard foul, maybe on an SGA or somebody. That's the guy you want to deal with. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a fun season, man. That's all we can say. It's been a fun season.
You know what I find interesting? That obviously the Thunder and the Spurs are battling right now for the best seed in the West / NBA. The Spurs are 2-ish games behind them. Yeah. Also, how they get the Executive of the Year award, it could come down to Spurs Thunder again. Presti versus Wright.
MVP.
So,
MVP is
exactly MVP. SGA versus MB.
Yeah. I mean, it's Coach of the Year, Dagnow, and
Mitch.
So I mean, it's OKC. It's San Antonio. Can we say the rivalry is already?
I think so. I don't even know social media. Some Thunder fans are tripping already.
I think
They're
I
putting up
saw
pic.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting up pictures of the Thunder celebrating a title last year. So throwing out the Spurs fan base.
It's a year ago, man. Come on, get over it.
I like to say like, oh, isn't that cute? One title, one title, one title.
Well, it was two. It was two. But now that the Sonics are coming back,
that's right.
Relinquish that.
You got to relinquish
79 title.
Yeah.
So,
nevertheless, yeah. Outside of Presti, I think it's going to be a close call. I think it's going to come down to those two guys. Trajan in Detroit, man.
He's going to get love. He's going
to get love. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum it up there. I can't think of another team that could have an exact worthy. Oh, well, you mentioned Boston. Brad Stevens.
Yeah. Brad Stevens, because remember, Jason Tatum went out with an ACL tear, and he was out for a majority of the season. He did just come back, but myself included, a lot of us had Boston scratching to be a playoff team, scratching to be a play-in team, because we figured Jaylen Brown, you lose Al Horford, you lose Kristaps Porzingis, and you're just kind of in limbo on what you're going to do. But with the team that they were able to put together, the guys like Hugo Gonzalez, who I loved as a rookie.
You wanted the Spurs to get him. I remember you were telling me.
Yes.
You were like, man, I hope they get this kid.
He's a really big time player. Baylor Shireman, who myself, you, and Jack Thompson talked about one time. I mean, the pickups that Boston was getting, Brad Stevens is going to get some loves, and Boston being the number 2 seed, I mean, you can't overlook Brad Stevens on Executive of the Year for the moves that he make and the way Boston's performing.
Absolutely. But certainly back to Brian Wright. Yeah, I have him penciled in as my NBA Executive of the Year. If I read the tea leaves here, Rudy's on board too, although he did have no reservation at first. But what do y'all think? Do you think Brian Wright takes home that trophy? Let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs. And I subscribe to Spurs in Focus on YouTube, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts. Go do that right now. Hey, Rudy, you want to preview tonight's Spurs-Warriors game?
Sure.
All right, so the Spurs begin a 3-game roadie, the last roadie of the season before the real season gets going in just a few short weeks. They can take on 3 teams. Warriors tonight. Then tomorrow night, they have a date with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. That should be interesting. A possible first-round matchup preview. And then they wrap it up against the Denver Nuggets, but that's a whole other story there. We're going to be focused on tonight. Spurs-Warriors game. Now, the Spurs are 1-2 versus Golden State this season. Let's not forget those rare losing skids, courtesy of the Warriors. They beat the Spurs back-to-back games in San Antonio. Now, granted, that was a different Spurs team. I don't think they were quite as humming as they are now. But, hey, times have definitely changed, and the Spurs are looking like they're looking like Thanos right now. Seriously, they're looking like Thanos and be able to just wreck everybody. And that's what I think will happen tonight. Now, IR report, Luke Cornett is not playing. He is out, so the Spurs will be down 1 big man. Hopefully, Mason Plumlee will get some burn tonight in Golden State. Yeah. Nevertheless, Rudy, let's go and look at some numbers here. I got it here. Just give me 2 seconds here. On paper, it should be a Spurs win. But did you know the Warriors actually have an above 500 record versus Western Conference teams this season at 13-9, despite not having Curry and Jimmy Butler for the rest of the season? Curry, there's a possibility he could come back tonight. That hasn't been confirmed. Nevertheless, Rudy, why is it that the Warriors, despite not having Curry and, of course, Butler, they seem to really give the Spurs some fits? Now, the last game, the Spurs trounced them, but it wasn't until after the half that the Spurs took control. Guys just become the next Dale Ellis, the next, Steph Curry, the next Craig Hodges, the next Steve Kerr when he was playing. They seem to come alive versus the Spurs, and that has been an issue for the Spurs this season, is defending the 3-shot. Did you know the Warriors are ranked second in 3-point makes this season in the NBA at 16 a game, and first in 3-point attempts per game at 45 per game? So they love that 3-shot. That's probably their best weapon they have tonight versus Spurs. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to shoot the 3-ball lights out, man. I mean, Pajinski's the guy that you've got to really worry about. When he gets going, he really gets going. knowing I think Steph's going to probably end up being out still. I don't think he's going to be back for tonight's game. But it's Pajinski. Even Santos has been playing really well for Golden State lately.
Right.
Of course, you got to deal with Draymond Green. You got to deal with Horford's going to be out, but Porzingis is going to still play. So you still got some veterans in there. You still got some guys that are capable of putting up some numbers and giving the Spurs a lot of fits. But it just comes down to one thing. Are the Spurs going to still play the way that they've been playing, or are they going to play down to their opponent, knowing that the Warriors have a decent amount of injuries to their best players? That's what I'm more concerned about. They're going to the West Coast. It's a later game. It has the feel to be a close game. I have a feeling that, a guy like Pajinski is probably going to go off a little bit, but nonetheless, yeah, he seems to always do, especially against San Antonio, but kind of similar to the Bulls game. I feel like they may come out a little slow to begin with, but then they'll turn it up, come the second half. But yeah, man, when it comes to the Warriors, it's guarding that 3-point line. Something San Antonio's been able to do lately, or they've been able to do it pretty well as well. So, I mean, the guard play obviously goes in favor of San Antonio. I think Victor's going to have another good game. I don't think he goes for 41, but I think he has another really good game, another double-double. So, on paper, you just got to defend that 3-line. And you got to hope that a guy like Pajinski just doesn't stay red hot.
Yeah, the last time the Spurs and Warriors met, the Spurs beat Golden State 126-113. And y'all remember that first half? I was kind of like, whoa. Golden State is hanging in there with the Spurs, and the wheels came off in the second half. And the other thing, too, I want to see tonight is focus. In the previous game versus the Bulls, let's be honest, they didn't look too sharp out there. And Mitch Johnson addressed it. Keldon Johnson addressed it. They said, look, we didn't look sharp. Even Keldon said he was thankful that Mitch Johnson got on the guys because they needed a wake-up call. And they got it. It was the Bulls. They handled business. Yay. They should do that tonight versus the Golden State Warriors. But I'm gonna go with the Spurs. I think the Spurs get the W. I think it's going to be I think we're going to probably see a duplicate game from the last meeting where it was close for a while, and then the Spurs just blew the doors off them. I think you will definitely see that. Another thing I want to watch too is Draymond versus Wemby. Draymond definitely gets up for playing against Wemby, and he gets physical. And you know what? As much as I hate it when it's happening, I do appreciate it because that type of physicality Wemby's going to face in the postseason. So I'd love to see him get a little bit rough and tough with Wemby when the real season begins. Hey, Rudy, can I test your Spurs Warriors history knowledge?
Ooh, okay.
Good luck with this one. If you get this one, I will give you something I have with Spurs.
Okay.
And you can't use Google. I swear to God, if you use Google, I swear
I have my hands right here, so I'm not typing nothing. I'll have them here.
Who was the one? What is the name of the Golden State Warrior in their franchise history who scored the most points versus the Spurs? If you get I swear, you get this one, I will show you which I'll send you or drop off with you or whatever.
So it's
as Rudy Googles at the answer right now.
Well, I mean, I've got my hands here, so I'm not Googling anything. I mean, you're going to the Warriors. The only if I can ask one question.
Okay, go for it.
What era?
Okay, that's a fair question. I'll give you this, the 80s.
Okay, so the 80s. Let's go
80s NBA era. This was tough. If you had asked me that question, I would have thrown the towel right now. I said, I'm done. I'm cooked.
Well, okay, so it's not Rick Barry because he was before the 80s. The 90s was Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, Billy Owens. 80s, Alton Lister he's in the 70s and 60s. Good guy. And this guy had the most points against the Spurs in the 80s. Oh my God, man. It's probably somebody obvious that
No, I'll give you another hint. It's not.
Oh, it's nobody obvious.
I don't know. I think I have the name.
If you probably tell me the name, I'll probably be like, oh wow, I would have never thought it. But honestly, 80 wise, I'm trying to go through the 80s list, man, and I can't figure offhand who in the 80s would have been the leading scorer because Mullen was drafted in 84. Chris Mullin. I'll go Chris Mullin.
No, but here is the answer.
Okay.
This individual scored 57 points against the Spurs in the January 7th, 1984, in a 154-133 win over San
Sleepy
Antonio.
Floyd?
No.
Oh.
You're gonna be like, man, I haven't heard that name in decades. Here's the name. Purvis Short.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Purvis Short?
57 points. 57.
Yeah. I remember Purvis Short, but I would have never thought he would have had the most points against the Spurs. Wow. Okay.
I give you
I will
another
never
trivia.
forget that.
This one should be, I'm guessing, easy for you.
Hopefully.
What is the most points scored against the Warriors from a former Spur? And the era is the 70s. This
Well,
was easy, obvious.
That's what, Gervin?
You got it, George Gervin.
I was gonna say that had to be George. Because nobody else touched the ball around that time with George.
47 points. Which I'm a little shocked. I thought maybe Timmy did, or Wemby did it already, or Parker. No, it was George Gervin in 131-127 overtime win versus the Golden State Warriors. It happened on November 13th, 1979. But Purvis Short, man, when was the last time I heard that name?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably not since the 90s. I haven't heard.
Man, that's what I'm saying. If you nailed this one, I would have been.
Yeah, and you said the 80s. I'm like, good God. I mean, Mullen was drafted in 84.
Yeah,
but
you would have had your option. You would have taken a Spurs branded merchandise, or I would have given you Mumra.
Oh man, my helmet, awesome.
You're like, I'll take Mumra, please.
Mumra's awesome, man. I would take Mumra all day.
All right. Well, we got the Spurs beating the Warriors tonight, and it's somewhat of a little bit of a battle, but I think the Spurs do blow them out. Ultimately, Rudy has the same way too. Again, Spurs aiming for their 10th straight win tonight. So that's crazy. Another double-figure win streak possibly on deck for your San Antonio Spurs. What do y'all think? Should the Spurs have an easy day or easy night versus the Golden State Warriors? Let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Rudy, it's about that time to get nerdy. You ready?
Sure. We get ready on my end here, but yeah, let's go for it.
Nerd! Look at that. Look at that. It is freaking Castle Grayskull.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. So are you trying to imply that you side with Skeletor's faction?
I've always been a villain fan. I'm a huge Joker fan, huge Deathstroke fan. Megatron. I mean, even Psykill, who you hate, is one of my favorite villains. So yeah, I would definitely side with Skeletor over He-Man every day of the week.
All right, and to be fair, I am wearing a Skeletor shirt, so y'all probably saw it coming in the beginning of the show. But we're bringing up He-Man Master Universe up because the new trailer dropped yesterday. It is the second trailer in anticipation of the movie that comes out later this summer. And my takeaways, first of all, nerdgasm.
Yeah.
It hit everything. First takeaway, and we got to address the skeleton in the room. And that is we finally got to hear what Jared Leto is doing with the voice of Skeletor. Now, before we begin, that path, that was kind of the mystery. Mark Hamill in the animated series did a phenomenal job, capturing the essence of Skeletor, bringing in that cackle, the sarcasm, the snarkiness. Mm-hmm. So check. Frank Langella, obviously, if y'all never seen Frank Langella's performance as Skeletor back in the first Master Universe movie, it is worth the price of admission. He just, holy smokes, tough to top. But again, he captured the voice. Then, of course, the OG voice actor back in the 80s. And again, we all know that he set the standard. But Leto, my takeaway, I think he did a bang-up job. I love the darker voice, the more ominous voice. We do hear the cackle. He did capture that. I was bracing for something stupid, like a Scottish or a heavy British accent. But no, I got to give it a Leto. He did a great job of bringing his own take on the voice of Skeletor. So check. We got to see some of the characters a little more close. And can I tell you this? My second takeaway, they nailed the look of the characters. They nailed it. Did you see Trapjaw? I mean,
I
that
did. I
is
was going to mention
Trapjaw.
Like,
Did you see Evil Lynn? That is Evil Lynn. Tila, Cringer slash Battle Cat, Man at Arms, Prince Adam. They don't wear these stocking tights, but he does wear the homage to it with a pink button up and jeans. So, and even when he turns into He-Man, he's wearing the iconic chest harness,
the armor,
and then the armor. Yeah. So again, check. Only draw up the only thing I did like. I don't like what they're doing with Roboto. I don't think that's Roboto.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have a gripe. I'm hoping that's just kind of a distraction, and it will get the iconic look of him, which is the kind of the clear chest plate. You can see his gears working, and he's a little more slimmer. He's not as bulky. Final takeaway is this: are they intentionally leaving out one of the biggest characters, Orko? Orko is huge. He is huge. There was even somebody on X who posted at me saying, if there's no Orko, we will riot. Now, Orko is more of the comedy relief, but he does hold a crucial role in it, as he's one of 3 people who knows who Prince Adam really is. And so there's that. And by the way, if y'all ever seen the reimagination of Orko in the recent animated Netflix series, go check that out. Orko brings it in his battle with Scareglow. I mean, their battle was just holy smokes, and it's a very emotional battle. So those are my takeaways. What did you think about the new trailer?
The first trailer we got, I was hyped. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be good. This trailer right here, I'm gonna mortgage my house so I can get tickets every showing at every theater. It brought back so many memories as a kid, thinking one day, are we ever going to see a live action movie?
Yeah.
And we did good with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella. I mean, we got it, but we didn't get it at that time. For us, it was like, you know what? It's good enough for right now. No, they are really blowing us out of the water with this new movie coming out. I hope it's not one of those where the trailer exceeds and it's like the movie's like, well, it's just kind of not that great. Biggest takeaways for me were, the costumes, the look everything was perfect. Even if it's one mess up, I'm okay with. I'm fine with it. But
you don't have an issue with Roboto? I have a big issue with Roboto.
I do, but if that's my only issue in the movie, I can overlook it.
That's not Roboto. You know what a Roboto is.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if that's the only takeaway, like if that's the only negative, I'll be okay with it. I mean, you're giving me a lot more than what the Transformers have given me. So, and I'm a huge Transformer guy.
Although that Bumblebee opening scene was holy smokes.
I think that would have probably been the greatest franchise had that been done that way. But the costumes are great. I mean, the look looks great. Everything's being nailed. I love the acting so far in the trailers. I mean, all the actors seem to play their roles perfectly. The Skeletor, we got the OG Skeletor. We got the look,
the blue skin,
everything down to a T. I was so skeptical because of Jared Leto. I kind of liked Morbius a little bit, but it just wasn't that great for me. I don't like his portrayal of the Joker on Suicide Squad, but I did like his rebound portrayal of the Joker in the Justice League, the Snyder release.
Yeah,
I did like that better. I had no hopes going in for Leto coming into Master of the Universe. After seeing him, after hearing him, I think this is, I'm going to say it now, Jeff, I think this is his Heath Ledger calling.
Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, to me, it hits the way Heath hit when he was the Joker. So those are my biggest takeaways. And your Orko thing, I will say this. I'm upset if you don't get Orko, but I really feel he's going to be in the post-credit scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I'm curious to see what they're gonna, because there is it's a collection of characters that I'm interested in. Will they tease Hordak? Hordak. Will they tease Scareglow? Will they tease She-Ra?
That okay.
Can you imagine that end credit?
I think that's what we get.
Yeah. What do you think? You think Leto can top Langella, or not even close? Not even come close.
I had an issue with Langella only because they didn't do the look right. And that was my biggest thing, was that he didn't get the blue skin. He didn't get that look that I really wanted. Acting wise, man, it's gonna be tough to top him. Just like Heath's Joker in the Batman in Dark Knight. It's gonna be tough to top that. And I think Langella, it's gonna be tough to top.
Yeah, he set the bar high for that character. It's high.
But could you give Jared Leto? Could you go open-minded, knowing that he sounds like him? He's able to get the cackle, and he even has the exact look.
Yeah.
What would it take for Leto to overcome Langella for you?
I think he has to match it. I don't think he has to overtake him for acting wise. If he matches it with that iconic look, then he's right there, because he'll have the look of the OG Skeletor, and then with the acting chops, he matches it. Because if y'all, again, I go to YouTube, everybody, after you subscribe to Spurs in Focus, just search Frank Langella Skeletor, and you'll be floored. You'll be like, that kind of acting was in that movie. Holy smokes. Yeah, it was just tremendous. But no, I think it was great. And one question, I didn't hear a response to you X yesterday, but is Skelly's staff on par with the Power Sword? Like, are they kind of equal or no?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are of equal. I'd have to really look into it, but off the top of my head, yeah, I think it's of equal. There's not one better than the other. They're both equal.
Yeah, because that staff is no joke, man. And he rocks it, man. But no, looking forward to the movie. Still got a ways to go, but man, what a trailer! If I could do like 100 thumbs up, I would, definitely. But all right, we're done with our nerd segment here. He is Mr. Rudy Campos with Box Score Studio. You need to brag about that, and then kind of educate everybody what's going to be happening with the Sports Answer and us here at Spurs in Focus.
Yeah, so Box Score Studio, it's on YouTube. It's Box Score Studio or Box Score Studio TV. And basically we do, a lot of the podcasts in there. We do a lot of shorts there, but also our biggest brand is the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe, it's Answer Now TV on YouTube. You can get the Sports Answer. You can get a whole lot of other shorts that we do there. We're also on IRB Focused Radio. And the announcement that we've got is now you can catch Spurs in Focus on Answer Now TV on YouTube as well. So we'll be running this show live for everybody once it's released. It'll be previously recorded, but it'll run live on IRB Focused Radio. It'll be live on Box Score Studio. It'll be live on Answer Now TV. So yeah, Jeff, you're getting well over close to like 40,000 eyes on you now. So
I'll take it.
We're definitely helping you expand it. You're doing a fantastic job over at Spurs in Focus.
Yeah. I'll love to find out if people just fast forward to the nerd segment. That'd be cool. Touch my nerd heart.
Drop it in the comments if you're.
Yeah, exactly. Drop it in the comments. But no, Rudy, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us here at Spurs in Focus, and the announcement regarding Sports Answer, Spurs in Focus live. Well, pre-recorded live, and whatnot. Yeah, so keep an eye on that, everybody. And again, he is Mr. Rudy Campos, aka the second wielder of the Power Sword, and he'll likely be on again next week. Yes, y'all know it already. I already told everybody Rudy's going to be a very frequent guest here at Spurs in Focus. So Rudy, we appreciate it. Make sure to follow him on X, everybody, at Box Score Studio. Everybody else, thank y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, YouTube podcast. We are there. Go hit the subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. And don't forget to go to Spurs in Focus on Substack. That's where you'll find my writing, game previews, the latest news, sneaker news, Spurs trading card news. And the list goes on and on. Who said what? Who's saying this? We go check it out. And it's completely free. Spurs in Focus at Substack. Let's see the schedule here. I think we'll be back on Friday. Yeah, I think we're going to take a day off here. The Spurs do some damage and then come back on Friday and regroup and see what they're doing now. Hopefully, maybe we'll get in a bonus episode. Who knows? But we'll definitely be back for sure on Friday. So again, we thank y'all for making this show hum. Thank you for subscribing. So for Mr. Rudy Skeletor Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. And now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.